So going back to the 6 months warning, I saw 3 events that I believe were important warning signs for us of what is coming in 6 months. I was especially watching March 30th because that was the 10th day of Nisan. It was on this day that there was a 7.7 earthquake followed by a tsunami warning in Papua New Guinea. Of course, 7 is a very important number in the scriptures. The Day of Atonement in 2015 is the end of a 7 times 7 count that began on June 7, 1967, when Israel recaptured Jerusalem. 49 prophetic years later ends right on the Day of Atonement in 2015, and Leviticus 25 tells us to count off 49 years from when the Israelites enter the land given to them by God, and then sound the trumpet on the Day of Atonement and proclaim liberty and the start of the year of Jubilee. This takes us back to the verse in Isaiah 61 that says to proclaim liberty to the captives. Isaiah 61 also mentions the opening of the prison to them that are bound, which points us to Revelation 2, which says,
"Do not be afraid of what you are about to suffer. I tell you, the devil will put some of you in prison to test you, and you will suffer persecution for 10 days.
The prison doors are opened after 10 days on the 10th day of Tishrei, or the Day of Atonement. The earthquake and tsunami warning point us to the earthquake and tsunami that will happen when the asteroid hits the Earth in September. There was an event that took place just a few days earlier than this in March. On March 24th, NASA announced that there was an asteroid that was making a close encounter with the Earth. They basically gave everyone a 3 days notice about this asteroid and said it was traveling at 23,000 miles per hour, which is a clue again pointing us to the number 23, or September 23rd, the Day of Atonement in 2015. Let me just read the article that came out about this asteroid, and you listen for all the hidden clues. A mammoth asteroid capable of wiping out an entire country is on a near collision course with Earth. It has emerged. The 1,000-meter-wide monster will hurtle terrifyingly close to the planet within days, sparking fears of an unprecedented disaster. The object, called 2014 YB35, is almost the same size as Ben Nevis and will skim the Earth on Friday, traveling at more than 23,000 miles an hour. Small meteorites often pass close by, however one of this size is a once-in-5,000-year occurrence, according to concerned astronomers. A collision with the Earth would unleash an explosive force equivalent to more than 15,000 million tons, 15,000 megatons of TNT. The path of the asteroid is shown below in an animated trajectory map released by NASA. It can be clearly seen only narrowly missing the Earth. Any impact would trigger devastating changes in the climate, earthquakes, and tsunamis, leading to the eradication of entire communities. It would eclipse the destruction caused by the 1908 Tunguska event, which saw a 50-meter lump of extraterrestrial rock crash into Siberia. It flattened an estimated 80 million trees and sent a shock wave across Russia, measuring 5 on the Richter scale. Experts warn it's only a matter of time before an asteroid capable of life-altering damage collides with our planet. Bill Napier, professor of astronomy at the University of Buckinghamshire, said that there is a very real risk of a comet or damaging asteroid hitting Earth. He said smaller-scale events like Tunguska are absolutely a real risk. Largely they are undiscovered, and so we are unprepared. With something like YB35, we are looking at a scale of global destruction, something that would pose a risk to the continuation of the planet. These events are, however, very rare. It is the smaller yet still very damaging impacts which are a very real threat. Experts warn if one of these monsters were to hit Earth, plumes of debris thrown into the atmosphere, changing the climate and potentially making the Earth uninhabitable for all life. Smaller impacts would be capable of destroying cities and knocking out transport and communication networks. Professor Napier added, the real risk is from comets, which, even if the Earth passes through the tail, can generate a massive plume of smoke with hugely significant consequences. There's absolutely a real risk, and if you look at history, certainly biblical records, there are reports of fires in the heavens. Red-hot debris resulting from the impact of something a kilometer wide would be capable of incinerating the planet. According to NASA's Near-Earth Object Program, the enormous lump of rock will pass within 2.8 million miles, a tiny distance in astronomical terms, on Earth on Friday. Images from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory show the asteroid on course with the Earth's own trajectory. Though its exact size is unknown, it is estimated to be from between 500 meters and 1 kilometer wide, with 990 meters the most likely. The object was first spotted by the Catalina Sky Survey at the end of last year, with astronomers expected to be closely watching its progress this week. Astronomers have named June 30th as Asteroid Day to highlight the dangers of potentially dangerous asteroids hurtling through space. Initiative co-founder Gregorij Richers warned there are thousands which have not been identified which could destroy life. He said it just takes one asteroid to completely destroy life, not just humanity but all species. Asteroid Day is about raising awareness, understanding that there's a threat, and dealing with it. The Minor Planet Center has classified 2002 FG7 and 2014 YB35 as potentially hazardous asteroids. NASA said that there are more than 1,500 potentially hazardous asteroids in outer space which show an orbit dangerously close to swiping Earth. A spokesman said potentially hazardous asteroids are currently defined based on parameters that measure the asteroid's potential to make threatening close approaches to the Earth. This potential to make close Earth approaches does not mean a potentially hazardous asteroid will impact the Earth. It only means there is a possibility for such a threat. By monitoring these potentially hazardous asteroids and updating their orbit as new observations become available, we can better predict the close approach statistics and thus their Earth impact threat. Okay, so that's the article. Do you think that they're trying to say something here in this article about a life-threatening asteroid coming soon? It's interesting that they announced about this asteroid less than a week before the 10th day of Nisan. The third thing that took place that I saw was CERN starting just after the blood moon eclipse took place. We know that CERN is about opening a door to other dimensions. The blood eclipse was 4 minutes and 44 seconds and took place on 4/4, April 4th. The fourth letter of the Jewish alphabet is Dalet, and it means door. Do you think that the Lord is giving us a warning that the door to the abyss will be unlocked at the time of the blood moon, just as was shown in the movie The Seventh Son? September 28, 2015 will also be the end of a 2200-day count from the start of Daniel's 70th week on the Feast of Trumpets in 2009, which could be a fulfillment of the 2200-day count mentioned in Daniel 8.
One man will break the code and open the door, and open the door, break the code and open the door.
What is that?
It's your donkey.
We've opened a doorway to a world we know nothing about.
This is not like other ordinary particles. It really is we're reaching into the fabric of the universe at a level we've never done before. This is telling us something. It's a key to the structure of the universe. And this could open up, maybe we see nothing extraordinary, and we understand that maybe this is the only part of the story that's left, or maybe we open up a whole new realm of discovery.
Be proud of these results, and I hope that they open a door, and I hope that they open a door.
Break the code and open the door.
So, my mother's amulet is the key that unlocks the door to the demon world.
And I hope that they open a door toward a very bright future.
One man will break the code and open the door, and open the door, break the code and open the door.
Signing off 9/23/1780.
Clearly he's leaving us a code. Some way to reach him. Time or date, maybe? September 23rd? September 23rd.
Now listen to what Tom Horn had to say about the reason for the Pope coming to meet with the President in September.
In 2009, what happens? All of a sudden, the Vatican starts doing something the Vatican's never done before. They call for an astrobiology study week. They have the Pontifical Academy of Sciences, which, by the way, Francis just met with in secret this week. Is that a prelude to something that's coming up in either this or the next encyclical? Well, he's meeting with them. But those scientists for the Vatican, they came together, they brought together the most powerful astronomers in the world, geologists, theoretical physicists like work at CERN, but they also brought in theologians. And that whole week, they started discussing what they've never stopped discussing since, and that is, what would the impact on faith be, on religion be, given the disclosure or the discovery of advanced extraterrestrial intelligence in the universe? If we suddenly do what Steve Quayle has just asked, and tomorrow morning we wake up and all of a sudden it's on every major news station. Here's the President of the United States of America, here's the presidents of Europe and China, Gog Magog, and they're standing there, and right in front of them is Petrus Romanus, the final pope on the 800-year-old prophecy of the Catholics, and he is saying, we have an announcement to make. We are in contact with extraterrestrial intelligence. Or we have an announcement to make. They're here.
Pope Francis, he's coming to Washington. While he's there, he'll pay a visit to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
The Pope is coming to America, but specifically visiting Washington. The White House announcing that the President and the First Lady will host Pope Francis on September 23rd during his first ever papal visit to the United States. They're going to pick up their conversation begun during the President's trip to the Vatican a year ago. That's what the White House says.
The Pope is scheduled to make his first papal visit to the United States this fall, and it promises to be historic.
On September 24th, His Holiness Pope Francis will visit us here at the United States Capitol. That day, His Holiness will be the first Pope in our history to address a joint session of Congress. We're humbled that the Holy Father has accepted our invitation and certainly look forward to receiving his message on behalf of the American people.
Today we learned the papal visit has been designated a national special security event, meaning that Secret Service, Homeland Security, and the FBI will all be playing a role.
Tomorrow morning we wake up and all of a sudden it's on every major news station. Here's the President of the United States of America, here's the presidents of Europe and China, Gog Magog, and they're standing there, and right in front of them is Petrus Romanus, the final pope on the 800-year-old prophecy of the Catholics, and he is saying, we have an announcement to make.
Certainly look forward to receiving his message on behalf of the American people.
And it promises to be historic.
And he is saying, we have an announcement to make. We are in contact with extraterrestrial intelligence. Or we have an announcement to make. They're here.
Why would they need to disclose to us about aliens unless the rapture had just happened or was imminent as part of the plan to cover up the rapture event and make it seem like an alien intervention of our planet to save humanity from extinction? They know what's coming in September. The question is, do you, and are you prepared?